And here we are. Hello,
Silly.
everyone, and welcome to the Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy live show. Only a few months late, but here we are.
Technically, with our new schedule, we're only like a month.
I don't think the new schedule cancels out what was
Some
happening.
might say.
Well, would you like to start us off, Daryan, with your rating and introducing yourself?
Oh, hi. I'm Daryan. You should know me by now. If
Yeah.
you've made it this far, I gave it 2.5 stars.
All right.
I'm Kasey. I also gave it 2 stars. It just felt like we can get into it later on, but very quickly. I get the purpose of a lot of the stories, like it's set up a lot for what's to come, but at what cost?
So true. It was so unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
It was so close to being a 2, and then the last story got me, and I was like, okay,
That's nice of you.
here's 0.5 as a treat.
Well, hi. I give it 3.5 stars.
Ooh, saucy.
She's a generous queen.
Talk about some diversity here.
I mean, helping my son with homework, then I'll join.
Cute.
Okay.
Yeehaw.
Hello.
Hi, Cammy.
Are you
eating
coffee?
Mm-hmm. Cammy and I probably go to the same Cold Stone too.
Oh, love that.
DoorDash is my best friend.
Oh, can I go to Cold Stone when I go to New Jersey?
If that's what you want.
I've never been.
Okay, then yeah, we'll go.
So true.
What a plan. Hello.
Hello.
All right. Well, where do we start?
Where do we start? I feel like I've blacked out.
I know. I feel like I read that so long ago.
Mm-hmm. Do you?
Sorry.
What? I was gonna say, should we start with George?
Coming out swinging.
Me too.
I love Simon too. I just don't think he's meant to be a main character.
Exactly. Also, like some of the like in the Bane Chronicles, each story was like very different.
Yeah.
And in this book, like the stories were, it could have just been a regular old novel.
That's one of my like things I don't love about it is because it only takes place over the span of like 2 years. You do see some from ago and whatnot, but it feels like because there's so many different authors writing different short stories, it's like you go from one day to the next and all of a sudden characters are acting like differently. They feel different, but it's like it's only been a day, so it's like how are they different, you know?
Yeah. And I don't know if we talked about this with the Bane Chronicles, but like most of the stories had like very little to do with Simon. It was like just Simon was the setup for you to hear the story.
Yeah.
So it was like that's just so not creative. And then it makes like the story that you're meant to hear in this chapter feel so disjointed from the rest of like the plot of the book, the purpose of like why you're following Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like they could have just done like some of the ones where we went back and saw like James at the academy and like all like Valentine and all of them. Like that could have just been the short story. We didn't need to have it be like Simon talking to someone and being like, sit down and let me tell you a story. Like that could have just been this, you know?
It literally like he would go to class and they're like, okay, I'm gonna tell you my story.
Like I get why it was him.
Yeah.
But it just like it is kind of weird how they like use him as like the vessel to tell all of these stories. Read this so long ago, but yes, I remember feeling the same way. Yeah. But I mean, There's some good ones.
There are. One of the things I didn't really like was Simon and Isabella's relationship. It was just so back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah. I also think it can be weird to read them all at once too, because they like all of the individual novellas were published like individually first and then were put together in a bind up. So like when you were reading them as they were being put out, it wasn't so like it didn't feel that way, you know?
Yeah, I can't remember if this was mostly in this book or if it was in no, it must have been this book. Where he just kept being like, because she wanted to be with him, right? And he's like, but you don't even, I'm not the same size.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my, like, just accept that she wants to be with you. Like, oh my God, it's so frustrating.
I feel like there was even a moment that Isabel was like, stop being so like, woe is me. You don't know who I am.
Yeah. But I also just hate how they left like Simon's character. Like I hate like him becoming a shadow hunter. Like I just thought him being a vampire was so good.
Yeah, but I kind of like him and Clary being parabatai. I like that.
Yeah. Oh please.
I also like it makes me happy knowing that he's not gonna like outlive all of his friends. They're all gonna die.
That's kind of nice.
But then who's gonna stay with Magnus? Sorry.
Yeah.
I said, who's gonna stay with Magnus?
Yeah.
Don't even.
Well.
Isn't his child gonna live a long time?
I don't know.
Well, I think. Well, like, assuming the child doesn't die by unnatural causes. Oh my God. Also, if we want to talk about that story, the child just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They really just find some random baby. They're like,
we were talking about this not like that long ago, but I was saying like when I read this the first time, it didn't feel so like it was random, but it was like
they're also so young.
Well, that's what I realized this time. I was like, Alec is like 20 or something in this. And now he's like, it's like, you know, it happens. It's just like, I can't imagine.
Like 2 weeks ago, he wasn't comfortable with the fact that Magnus had slept with other people.
I know.
That's what we call growth.
That's like, let me get your therapist, Alec.
Like, I felt like I missed something because it was like they found this baby, and then Alec was like, "We're gonna keep this baby." And I was like, how did we jump?
And not only are we gonna keep this baby, but we're gonna make it live in Max's like shadow every day.
Yeah,
this is the reincarnation of that.
Remember that brother I had that died that we all forgot about? Now we'll remember him forever.
I agree. It was an era.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like there was something I wanted to say about the baby, but now I don't remember.
The baby.
The baby.
The baby. Left foot, right foot. Do a baby.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. The baby's blue. That's what I remember.
A little blueberry.
A blueberry.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the Lost Herondale?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That's
yeah. New information, right?
So refresh my memory. Katerina helped. What? Someone was pregnant and they thought the baby died. Yes, go ahead.
Bias Herondale had a wife.
Yeah.
Who was pregnant.
Yeah.
And he like ran away.
Okay.
During battle.
And the Shadowhunters were like, how dare he betray his honor of being a Shadowhunter, blah, blah. So they're like, the solution is killing his wife.
Right.
His wife's pregnant. And so Cassandra Clare, she likes to do this thing where if someone's pregnant, she's like, save the baby. Katharina got the baby and then raised the child.
Right.
And then set them free into the world. So there's now just this line of Herondales out there that don't even know
some guy
anything about it.
Oh.
They
And
don't
I'm
even
just
know.
saying at some point we'll find out more about that.
Yes. Lisa, do you remember like what time period it was when this Herondale baby was born?
Well, I think it says that Tobias Herondale is Will's brother, but I'm confused because I didn't think he had one.
A brother?
I don't remember a brother.
Let me
Is it
consult
his dad's brother?
Shadowhunter wiki.
What?
Oh, maybe.
Oh. I thought you said there was a Shadowhunter named Wiki.
No. It says William Herondale is his brother. So maybe because he's an older brother and he like deserted, maybe they don't talk. But I don't know. That's probably something that Cassandra Clare went, I've already written the infernal devices, but this is a piece of information that I'm adding up.
This is gonna set up the foundation of like everything else in this world, but it's fine.
Unless that's, I mean, could be wrong, but I think Shadowhunter Wiki probably knows what they're talking about.
I'm coming up with theories as we speak.
As you should.
I'm thinking.
I did go through some of my little notes that I've been taking throughout reading these books. And there were a couple of things that were mentioned like really early on that I went, And I don't know, again, I would be so interested to know like how early in these books Cassandra Clare had certain things like thought out. Like, did she always like plan for Simon to become a Shadowhunter? Was like that the end goal? Because there's a point in City of Bones where he asks if the Mortal Cup would work on him. And I'm like, it would, funnily enough.
Yes. You know who it wouldn't work on?
That was the transition.
Oh, that was so sad.
That was genuinely traumatizing.
Yeah.
I was literally just listening to the book, minding my own business, and then all of a sudden, like, George starts screaming or something, and I was like, what? And I rewound, and I was like, did I miss something?
Yeah.
What's happening? Oh my god, I was so sad.
I was gonna ask if anyone like who read this for the first time, if they were surprised by that or if they saw it coming, because I remember like the first time I read it through, I was surprised by it, but reading that specific short story, the whole lead up to it, it's like, oh my god, she's literally like, he's going to die. So here's all these emotional moments.
Yeah.
So that you know. It's like
oh, poor baby. And then Simon takes like his last name.
Which like makes me think like that was the plan for George's character the whole time.
Yeah.
That's
to like, provide that last name for him to take, but it's like still. And he was like, George didn't invite his parents to watch the ceremony because he didn't want them to be covered in George guts or something. And I was like, oh my god. It's so sad.
Wait, what? In George? Like just in case?
Yeah, he didn't invite them to watch because he like just in case he didn't want them to see him die if it went bad.
That's so sad.
Yeah. It really is.
Also, like, I should have known because while I was listening to the book, I was like, I've never heard of this George guy. Like, how come I've never heard people talk about him? And now I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh,
that's so true, yeah.
Because he did.
He did. Wish I had a family tree of these. Yeah.
It took me a long time to get all the Blackthorn children straight.
Yeah. I think I made like a cheat sheet when I started Chain of Gold for the first time because I was like, there are so many people with the same last name. I don't know who belongs to who. I don't understand who's related to who. I'm sure they're out there.
Yeah.
But I feel like Cassandra Clare should give them to us in
It should be like in the dust jacket or something.
There is a dust in the dust jacket of Clockwork Princess. Apparently, there is a family tree.
Oh, well, I don't have that.
But she says it's not accurate anymore because it might change with the last hours, which stresses me out. But that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, I mean, if I saw a family tree, it would probably spoil something. So I don't want to look at that because I don't know anything anymore.
Yeah,
which is scary.
But it's exciting.
Going back to George.
Yes.
Well, not just George, but like in terms of the whole like setting, I didn't like any of the students besides like George.
I didn't care about any.
Yeah.
Like there was like someone named Beatrice, and I was like, "Who's this?" And there was another girl, and I was like, "Is this Beatrice?"
Yeah.
And there was like that guy, and he was like, "Oh, whatever." And I was like, "There's that guy."
Yeah.
There he goes again. Yeah. I didn't really. Why couldn't one of them have died?
Because it wouldn't have hurt.
Whatever.
And I don't think Simon would have done the last name thing with anyone else.
I guess.
But what do you think about like George and like Jessamine's connection, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing, right? Yeah.
Well, George, he was adopted, right? That's why it didn't go well, because he's not like, doesn't have like Shadowhunter.
Yeah.
But oh my god, the part when Simon and Clary and Isabel go, and then he thinks he sees George and Jessamine, but he doesn't know that it's her. It's like, oh my god,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I didn't expect to cry as much as I did reading that, because it's like, I've read this, I knew it happened, but I was like sobbing, like, okay, enough.
Ugh, whatever. We saw James.
I was just gonna say,
everyone was mean to him.
He was moody.
Well, Matthew, is that his name?
Yeah.
He was mean to him.
To be fair, James wasn't the nicest to him either,
I guess. But then
they both had like their own like issues with each other that they didn't communicate about, because they were 13 years old.
They were projecting so hard.
They're made for each other. Yeah. Then they became parabatai.
Oh. And parabatai can't get married.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone knows.
That is true.
But like, how are James and Matthew gonna get married?
You're so right.
You're so right.
Listen, I'm in the middle of Lady Midnight. I'm trying to figure that out.
So true.
I literally don't remember what the other.
I know. I'm like looking through what I wrote down. We also saw there was one that was like about Valentine and Robert Lightwood and all of them, and it's like, not see that one was probably the worst one in my opinion.
Yeah, the one where Robert, like his friend or whatever, was gay, and he was like,
Yeah.
He was like, you can do that, but just not around me.
It's so awful.
But he kept being like, well, I feel like I'm supposed to feel this way for Maris, but I don't feel this way. And I was like,
yeah,
I know what you are.
Come to my side.
Those queers. I really don't remember this book very well.
I'm trying my best.
It was
and then there was the one that was really random, and we saw Will and Tessa, and they like figured out who Jack the Ripper was or something. Like, why? Like, I love them, so fine, but
yeah, that was weird.
Like, it was Cassandra Clare being like, I want to feed the people and give them Will and Tessa. How can I do it? And then here we go. Like,
I was listening to it and I was like, what does this have to do with Simon? Like,
literally nothing.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's make a whole book about Simon, or like have Simon be the main character and have none of the stories be about Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than the one with him and Clary doing that thing to test if they should be parabatai or not.
Yes, and they passed.
That was so confusing to me. I was like, what are they doing? And I was like, is this the test? And it wasn't the test.
It was not the test.
And then Julian and Emma were there, right?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, that was like after Clary and Simon did their like trial thing. They went to Julian and Emma's parabatai ceremony.
And no one thought to stop them. Anyways, that's for another live show.
Say again, Lady Midnight. The time will come.
We'll get there, kids.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I too listened to this as an audiobook the first time I read this. The audiobook, trash.
Yeah. It's not, I just don't like I mean, I don't mind multiple narrators, but it doesn't seem to work with these short story collections because they give different characters different accents. And I'm like, who?
I assume each one is narrated by someone different.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably did that when they were releasing them and then went, smush them together. Here's the audiobook.
Like sometimes, and George was Scottish, right? And like sometimes he had a Scottish accent, sometimes he didn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is talking right now? And then I was like, oh yes, it's George. But one of them was narrated by Jack Falahy from How to Train Your Dragon. It's always on the mind. How to Get Away with Murder.
It's on the mind.
So love him. Everyone else can go home.
So true. Besides that, it was a very meh. Meh.
It was just a kind of boring time.
Is this we saw Helen and
Aline's
wedding,
Wait,
right?
didn't we see Mark too?
Yes. Oh my god, wait.
Did we?
Wait, this is what I've been waiting for. Yeah, so it's the same short story where Simon and all the people that are the same and George go on like a little mission, and then Simon stumbles into Fairy, and then Mark comes and saves him.
Wait, now
Isabel comes, and then they go to the wedding.
Yeah.
I don't remember that part with Mark.
The whole, the fairy that comes and talks to Simon when he's in like the cage and gives him the key to escape.
Oh yes,
that was Mark.
Yes.
Well, I just realized that Lisa's Christmas tree is still up.
We don't like to rush into these things. And I'm gonna point it out, and now everyone's gonna know. But there's a section of lights that went out, so that looks great. And then there's some, for some reason, that look brighter than the rest of the tree.
Yeah,
I don't know why that's happening. And there's more that are out on the bottom, so it's fine.
The tree said Christmas is over.
Yeah, but I don't want it to be.
I know.
I'm trying to find. Okay.
Well, yes.
Because, first of all, Julian gave Helen away, which just hurts my feelings. Yeah. But it's also like the fact that he did that, and that's normally like the father's role, and now he's like the father of all of these kids. It's like, I don't like that. Yeah. And then I think Simon goes up to him at one point and asks if he needs any help, and Julian was like, no, I got this. And Simon says that he has a smile that's almost convincing. It's like, oh no. No, poor Julian.
Yeah.
A little boy.
He's just a little boy.
Wasn't there also a story about their dad and I want to say Arthur or Andrew? That's the two of them.
Yes.
And I don't know what.
Oh yeah, and it's about the fairy who like tricked.
Yeah, but I didn't completely understand what was happening. I didn't, because then at the end, like, didn't the fairy, like Helen and Mark's mom, like, didn't she say something? So then I got confused.
Well, basically, I think it was supposed to like insinuate that which brother? I think wasn't she in love with the uncle?
No.
Or was it their dad?
Wait, who's she?
Like the fairy girl.
It was Andrew, who is the Blackthorn's dad.
Okay. So I think it was supposed to insinuate, like, so while Andrew and the fairy got together, the uncle was like being tortured the whole time, and Andrew was like aware of it, and he was like, well, that sucks. I'm in love with you. But then when he realized that he wasn't like being tricked into it or something, that's when he got upset or something. And then but like basically like the whole point of the story is that like he was not like under any illusion or power or mind control from her. Like he was okay with his brother being tortured, and he was in love with the queen, but he couldn't live with the guilt that he was okay with it, I think. Right. So she let him go, and she took that memory away from him, and then I think she got really sad because she was like, this was real love, and I have, like, for his sake, I made him believe it wasn't real.
Okay. That's what I didn't understand. I was with this. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. I said Lisa might be able to put in the little details.
No, that sounds, no, because I also kind of got confused by that. Like, I couldn't tell if he was like, was he being manipulated? Was it real? And then I mean, this is like, they talk about it very briefly in Lady Midnight, and it's one of those things where no one really knows.
Yeah.
And that kind of like died with him, you know?
Yeah, that's how I interpreted it. And that's like why I think the uncle now is like a little kooky, because like he was tortured for so long.
Yeah.
He's kooky.
Oh, he's kooky.
Just a little.
Just a little.
Just a little.
So that's just my interpretation. Did anyone else like in the comments interpret it differently? Because I just assumed that was like law after reading that. I was like, okay, that's how it went down.
That makes sense. Because I was with it during the story, and then she came in and started talking, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I don't know what part you're talking about.
Like, there's a story where they're like, oh yeah, he was tricked, and he was like, he like thought he loved her, but he didn't actually love her. Meanwhile, the other guy was being tortured. But then at the end of the story, I'm pretty sure she comes in and is like, oh, I didn't trick him, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe that's like how the Shadowhunters talk about it, and like what he wanted them to believe happened. But she's like, no, let me set the record straight. Drops mic, you know.
So true.
Yeah. Okay. And then she was like, here are my children.
Yeah, let me leave them in a basket.
Yeah, like a store.
Like, love them. So
yeah,
happy for their existence, you know.
So true.
And then like you find out that Mark, like his he's like, Jace told me to show them what a shadow hunter can do, so I'm gonna show them what a shadow hunter can do.
Yeah.
His whole like reason for survival.
And him like looking up at the stars every night and naming all of his siblings.
I don't blame him. There's a lot of them.
Maybe Daryan should start doing that too.
Yeah.
I got them all. I finally got them all straight. It took a while.
Say them right now.
Helen.
Age order.
Helen.
Wait, hold on. Let me go.
Okay, Helen, Mark, Julian, and then Ty and Livy, and then Drusilla, Drew, if you will, and then Tavi.
Proud of you.
I'll put her away.
We did it.
You did it. What else?
I don't know. A lot of them just kind of blended together in my mind.
I do think, like, I know.
Whoa. This always happens when we're on stream, right? It's never like this when we're on Zoom. It's always weird on stream.
But why just then did that happen?
It sounded like Ellie Goulding. Like,
yeah, I can sing.
Or no, she goes, he.
So true.
Okay.
Lisa, sorry, you were saying something.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I was gonna say.
You were saying something, and then like the computer was like, "No, it's musical now."
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe we should turn our live shows into musicals.
Oh my god, let's do it.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say.
Yes.
I know. I mean, I didn't give it as low of a rating as you two, but I know, like, generally the short story collections aren't always the most enjoyable. However, this would, I feel like, been confusing to skip if you just like went into Lady Midnight, because Malik, their parents. All right. Simon's a Shadowhunter. All right.
And Parabatai with Clary.
Yeah. And I feel like you get even more information about like the Blackthorns and Emma, and you see their ceremony and blah blah blah. And you also see James, Matthew, and them, and that like that stuff kind of becomes relevant.
Yeah, because you find out like one of the things we didn't talk about this, but like I always forgot this, and it made reading like Chain of Gold and Chain of Iron really confusing, because like you find out something like really personal about Matthew, and that was like why he wanted to get expelled from school, and that like plays a big part in his character going forward too.
Mm-hmm. What was it again?
Did he have to look out for his dad, or he felt guilty for his dad or something?
Yeah, because Henry, after Clockwork Princess, he's now like in a wheelchair, and Matthew like wants to be there for him, and like Charlotte's always really busy, and he wants to be there to help him. He's like, all right, get me out of here.
Yeah,
I forgot.
He's a middle child, right?
Huh?
He's a middle child?
Matthew is the youngest. He has an older brother.
Who's the older brother?
Charles.
Charles.
He's the baby. And Infernal Places. That's
there's Charlotte and Charles?
I think is that. Hold on, let me consult my cheat sheet in Chain of Gold.
Wait, they have a kid named Charlotte?
No, Charlotte's the mom.
No, I know, but you just said Charlotte and Charles.
Yeah, they have Charlotte.
Yeah, like Charlotte has a child named Charles.
It is Charles.
Really?
Yes. And we met Thomas and Christopher. Love them. We don't really see much of them, but love them. Love their work.
I did. His name is Thomas.
Yeah.
I can't.
What's with Thomas? Oh, I get it. I so get it.
Yeah. Oh my god. You did this when I brought it up the first time.
Really?
Yeah. You were like, oh my god, I didn't realize.
Poor Thomas.
Poor Thomas.
Oh, love Thomas.
I really thought he was going to be a bigger part of Infernal Devices.
He's like George in the Infernal Devices.
No.
He's just doing his best.
and then he got.
He was original Thomas.
He was like, I love Sophie so much, and she was like, best I can do is name my child after you.
So
but
true.
You know, if he was like, if he knew that, he'd be okay with it.
Yeah. Aww.
Aww. No, I had that stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow.
And at the end, Simon and Isabel are together, right?
Yeah, I think they're ready. They're like boning like little rabbits.
That's one way to put it.
I don't know if that's how it's stated in the book, but
like, they're just like young and fertile and really happy to be each other.
And he has his memories, so
young and fertile.
The two sexiest words in the English language.
Great. We're going to lose our single viewer.
We drove them away. Sorry.
You would think being young and fertile would make someone have sex less. There they go. They're like, well, we're young and fertile. Might as well.
But wasn't that like a thing that happened? Like they started like
they had sex for the first time.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think they mentioned that they were fertile.
No, that probably wasn't the wording for you, but
oh my god.
I think we've lost Daryan.
I can't do this.
Daryan, she too, young and fertile.
Oh my god.
Yeah. At least someone gets a laugh at her.
Yeah.
Not just us.
Someone's here to laugh at us. Oh my god.
Not to like completely change the tone, but I was looking through, and that the last short story, I think Simon goes to like say goodbye to like his mom and his sister.
Ugh.
And that whole part was really sad because like his mom kept saying like I love you like unconditionally, blah blah blah, and he's like, I know that's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, I don't know why, but I feel like I really need to tell you this.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. And it's interesting too, like, not to, again, bringing up Julian, but it's an interesting parallel to his character and like how much he loves his siblings and how his love is actually unconditional to a scary point. And then
what does that mean?
Well, I mean, you're reading, you'll see.
You're reading.
But yeah, it just makes me sad.
Yeah.
No,
but like what's hard about her position too is like if I found out my kid was a vampire, I think I'd be scared too. You know, like what's your motherly instincts gonna do in that position?
I mean,
I don't know.
I know like part of it too was like her like mind was getting altered with, I think, because of the vampire things. But still, it's like that's your kid. I don't know. It feels like a bit intense. It's like, okay, like that's a problem. However,
yeah.
But also, I wouldn't know because I don't have a children. I don't have a children. I don't have that's a vampire.
Yeah.
I don't have a children.
I don't have children, and they're not vampires.
And they're not fertile.
And they're not fertile.
Oh my god.
But I feel like it's also kind of stupid. Like, I just feel like this book really showed how stupid Shadowhunters are and like the whole like Shadowhunter government. Because it's just like, why would you rip him away from his family again? And they were like that desperate. Like, George's death is on their hands.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're that desperate for Shadowhunters, and I get that, like, yeah, there's a need for them in your world, but like he just spent 2 years of his life and then like ruthlessly died for nothing because of the mess you guys got into and the mess that you now can't clean up.
Yeah. I mean, that is a good point because I was gonna say, like, the people who go to the academy and, like, become shadow like, they're choosing to do that, and we saw
Yeah.
people leave before the ceremony because there was that risk of them not making it. However, it is interesting to, like, go back even a further step and say, like, the reason that they're there in the first place is because Shadowhunters are stupid.
Yeah. Because it's like, well, if you guys weren't racist, you know, like.
Yeah, there was a part where Katarina's like something about, oh, it takes a downworlder to clean up a Shadowhunter's mess. It's like so true. They literally would not, they would be even more screwed if there weren't downworlders.
Yeah. Like, what would they do if there wasn't Magnus?
So true. Or Katarina. Or there's so many. Ragnar.
Okay, well, let's replace vampire with gay. What's worse?
What's worse? Which would you rather?
Would you rather?
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's like the 2023 version of like thought daughter or gay son. Like gay son or vampire kid.
Oh my god.
I'm not taking everything I say seriously.
You're funny.
Well, anything else?
Well, finally, I feel like to like kind of transition to the conclusion of this live show and looking forward. I feel like we have a lot to look forward to because like the next 2 series are like respectable.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to trudge anymore.
Yeah. I do feel like
2 other things.
Part of the reason why I rated this one higher than the Bane Chronicles by like a half star was because I feel like this one, like all the short stories had a little bit more, some of them were just stupid, but most of them had like significance or they were like setting something up. There was a reason behind them, even if in the moment, if you haven't continued on, you're like, okay, this is why. A lot of them do have moments that like we circle back to that. So it was like a little bit more significant and a little bit more important, and it's setting up a lot is what is to come, which is very exciting.
It's interesting because I'm on the flip side of that. Like I feel like after reading the last short story in the Bane Chronicles and finding out that he wrote that, or like he wrote that for Alec, that was like, okay, all like the pointless short stories and the stupid ones, worth it.
I still think they're stupid. Like, I think it's a nice idea. Yeah. I don't have to read it though. I'm not Alec. I'm not asking.
I think it just tells me that as like Magnus is my favorite. Simon, you're not that interesting to me. You're not as interesting to me.
Well, that's fair. Because Magnus is like, lived a lot of life.
So true.
Boy, has he.
I just don't want any more short stories.
Only one more.
And I don't remember liking that one.
Oh, I remember that one being my favorite, so should be interesting. Out of the short story collections.
Yeah. It's her favorite Shadowhunter.
It is my favorite Shadowhunter. No.
Oof. When we're done all these books, we gotta rank them all.
Oh, that's I'm already planning on it. I was gonna do a video ranking them.
Oh.
Because I wanted to do it, like, I've wanted to do that for a while, and then we started doing this, and I was like, well, I should reread them now and get them all fresh in the brain. Then my ranking will be accurate.
I still can't tell, like, this Mortal Instruments books. I'm so true.
Another what?
A short story collection.
Oh, I know, right?
Oh, we're not reading that one, I think, for a little bit. Where are we? We're here. So that's a good time to mention. We're currently reading
I have it.
Lady Midnight. And we also pushed everything back a month. So this is our January book. Look, we'll do the live show for this probably sometime in February.
I already read it.
Me too.
I'm halfway through.
Oh, that is so good because, like, you were like, I'm hoping to finish it by the end of the week, so then we can start tomorrow. I have so many books I need to finish before I can start tomorrow. So take your time.
We'll talk about tomorrow, but I'm probably gonna be starting it soonish.
Tomorrow?
Maybe tomorrow.
I'm probably gonna start it Saturday.
God damn it!
If I can finish that.
Ooh.
Oh ho ho!
Lady Midnight, is that what you're saying?
I think so.
And that's a good segue. So that's, like you said, early February, my channel.
Yeah, boy.
Yes. Woo!
And then what I was originally gonna say.
Whoa. What did you say?
What did you say? No, Daryan, you go.
I said we'll do it on your birthday.
Yep.
What a way to celebrate.
Lady Midnight, boys.
Lady Midnight at midnight.
Meet me at midnight.
Thank you. My brain said it.
I was just gonna say. Meet me at midnight.
Yes.
So,
what I was gonna say originally was the next short story collection we're reading in May, so we got some time.
Thank God.
May? What's in April?
The Red Scrolls of Magic.
Aww.
Yeah.
You can get the audiobook for well, I don't know if the audiobook's good, but the audiobook would probably go faster.
Yeah.
They're not that big though. They're pretty skinny legends, you know?
Is it Red Scrolls of Magic, the other short story collection, and then the other one?
No. I feel like I did this last live show. I'll just keep doing this at the end of every live show, and then we'll all know.
Okay.
So, Lady Midnight, January. Lord of Shadows, Queen of Air and Darkness, Red Scrolls of Magic, Ghost of the Shadow Market, Chain of Gold, The Lost Book of the White, Chain of Iron, Chain of Thorns.
Okay. You forgot Chain of Black Iron.
I was just gonna say that.
Right. I'll add that to the list.
Chain of Black Iron, boys. Wait, what is it? Chain of Iron? No, Chain of Gold, Chain of Iron, and Chain of Thorns?
Yeah. Chain of Gold, The Lost Book of the White, Chain of Iron.
No. I meant like in the last trilogy.
Yes.
Wow.
You got it.
And Chain of Thorns comes out so soon.
And did you see the cover for her?
Oh.
Wait.
I saw it.
I don't think I saw it.
It's so pretty. Do we need to do a live show for it?
Listen, it comes out in September. So that lines up with our I think. We're reading Chain of Thorns in September, but
wait, what is happening? Cassandra. Claire.
Cassandra.
Oh, Chain of Thorns? That cover?
No,
the Sword Catcher cover.
For her adult debut book.
I just see this thing. That doesn't look interesting.
Well, that's the corner of it. I think she posted about who posted I can just send you a picture of it.
Sword Catcher by Cassandra Clare. Oh, it just says cover coming soon.
No, but
it's out. I will send you the picture of the cover.
Okay.
I got you.
She's like, that's not very interesting.
An orphan named Kel is stolen off the streets.
Is that the synopsis?
Yeah, but why is she naming him Kel? That's a darker shade of magic. That's his name. I feel like it was like a prolific series like that. Why would you?
I don't think V. Schwab has the rights to the name.
But it's like this. It's like if she wrote a book with a main character named Kaz. You know, it's like
very distinct names that have already been used.
I sent
Oh,
it.
that is pretty. Take it up with her.
It comes out in October, and the last book we're reading for this is September. So we just keep going. It never ends.
And then we start over.
You say just start them over again?
Yeah.
No.
No, you're right.
I mean, I probably would with some series, but not the whole thing.
No.
No. Well, all right. I think we've covered it all. So thank you to anyone who joined us. Like we've said a million times, January we're reading Lady Midnight. Woohoo!
I don't even know what's going on.
So true. The next few live shows, well, the rest of them are going to be fun because you'll be able to theorize.
I have theories.
Oh, and I will be ready to hear them. All right. Thank you all for joining. We'll see you in the Lady Midnight live show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Bye.
Bye. Bye.